Imagine going from being the funny TikTok couple with your reality TV boyfriend to quietly holding hands at the Las Vegas Grand Prix with a former One Direction star while the internet accuses you of being smug, a social climber, and suddenly a list by association. That is exactly what is happening to Zara McDermott right now, and people have a lot to say about her new relationship with Louis Tomlinson and the very different way she is moving in public. Today we are breaking down how Zara's image has completely shifted since her breakup with Sam Thompson, what this new A-list partner narrative actually means, and whether the criticism she is getting is fair or just pure misogyny dressed up as concern. Let's get into it. If you somehow missed Zara's rise, here is the short version. She first hit UK screens on Love Island, then managed to do what a lot of Islanders never do. She stuck around. She moved into documentaries, presenting, huge social media presence, and then became one half of a very loud, very public relationship with Made in Chelsea star Sam Thompson. Their relationship was the definition of public. It played out on reality TV, across Instagram, in skits, vlogs, podcasts, everything. Cute couple photos, prank videos, emotional storylines, and yes, plenty of drama and breakups along the way. They even lived together in that Fulham flat that fans knew pretty much as well as their own living rooms. So when they finally split at the end of last year, after already surviving previous scandals and rocky periods, it felt like the end of a whole era for their fan base. A lot of people genuinely believed they would just keep breaking up and getting back together forever. Then out of nowhere, Zara gets linked to Louis Tomlinson. We are talking about a global star, one of the original One Direction members, a man with a hardcore fan base who has lived in a completely different level of fame than the reality TV ecosystem. When the first rumors of them together at Glastonbury started circulating, headlines called it shocking. The Daily Mail literally framed it as "Shock the Nation," which might be dramatic, but it captures the vibe. People were not expecting that crossover at all. Fast forward a few months and the are they, aren't they stage is over. They have been photographed together at events, most recently at the Las Vegas Grand Prix, walking hand in hand. Zara is slightly behind him. Louis is walking straight ahead with that very calm, almost unimpressed expression he does, and Zara is looking down with a small smile that the tabloids immediately described as smug. And that is where the A-list partner conversation starts. A body language expert has basically said Zara has gone through a complete visual reset. With Sam, she was animated, playful, sitting on his lap, arms wrapped around his neck, faces turned directly into the camera, both of them clearly performing as a team. She often took the dominant body position, leaning in first, touching his chest or torso in a way that said, "This is my man." The cameras were part of the relationship. They both knew it and leaned into it. Now, with Louis, everything is different. The expert pointed out that Zara is avoiding the cameras, looking down instead of posing, walking slightly behind him like a traditional +1. She is not jumping into his arms for the shot. She is not doing big, flirty poses. Her shoulders are looser, her smile is smaller. There is an air of, "I am not here for you, I am just walking." That kind of body language sends a very specific message. It says, "I am important enough that I do not need to perform for every lens in my face," which is exactly why the expert said she now comes across as an A-list partner rather than a reality TV influencer trying to squeeze every drop out of a moment. But at the same time, they also mentioned there is a tiny slice of smugness in her expression. That little closed-mouth smile you do when you know people are watching, you know exactly how big this moment is, and you are quietly enjoying the glow without giving the paparazzi the big shot they want. And honestly, if she is a bit smug, can you blame her? She went from living with a UK reality TV personality and posting skits in their flat to reportedly spending most of her time in a multi-million-pound North London mansion with an international pop star, traveling with him in the summer and using his place as a base now that they are back. That is a big lifestyle jump. The article claims she is pretty much moved in, filming her content there instead of at her parents' home after the breakup. So you have this massive public contrast. On one side, Sam Thompson, who has had his own huge year with television appearances, reality shows, and a very loud, very lovable golden retriever energy. On the other side, Louis Tomlinson, quieter, more reserved, but with that legacy, One Direction fame, and a different level of international reach. People look at Zara standing behind Louis on the Grand Prix grid, and they see a girl who used to be fighting for attention on reality TV now acting like the press is an inconvenience, not a job. For some, that reads as growth. For others, it screams social climber. And wow, do the comments reflect that? She's being called a climber, a leech, a gold digger, a fame W, and worse. People are saying she only goes for fame and money, that she will get passed around, that she will be dumped as soon as Louis gets bored. Others are defending her, saying she has every right to move on, every right to date whoever she wants, and that if her status has gone up, that is just how life works sometimes. On top of that, you have people trying to downgrade Louis himself, calling him a has-been, saying only Harry Styles is still relevant, almost like if they tear him down, they can stop Zara from being seen as moving up a level. It is a wild mix of projection, jealousy, stan culture, and maybe a little bit of genuine concern for Sam thrown in. Now, let's talk about that phrase, A-list partner status, because it is actually doing a lot of heavy lifting here. Nobody is saying Zara herself is suddenly A-list. She is not leading Marvel movies. She is not headlining global tours. What they are saying is that the way she is presenting herself now matches the traditional image of someone dating an A-list celebrity. More controlled, less thirsty for the lens, less chaotic, more polished. In other words, she looks like someone who knows there is more at stake than a viral TikTok video. That could be calculated PR rebranding, it could be natural growth and maturity, it could be a mix of both. There is also another angle that is not being talked about enough. When Zara was with Sam, they were in the same ecosystem. Same shows, same audience, same type of fame. If things blew up, they both felt it the same way. Now she's in a completely different universe. Louis has an army of hardcore fans who have watched him for over a decade. That level of fandom is intense, protective, and sometimes brutal. So it makes sense that she would tone things down, protect more of the relationship, and let the cameras catch what they catch instead of trying to turn every moment into content. When the stakes are higher, you behave differently. The big question people keep arguing about is Zara just doing what most people secretly would do in her position, or is she proving everyone right who accused her of using men to climb? Personally, I think two things can be true at once. Yes, Zara clearly cares about her career, her image, and her trajectory. She did not leave television and fade into obscurity after her first reality show. She pushed harder, took more opportunities, and kept herself in the conversation. That requires ambition, strategy, networking, and yes, aligning yourself with other powerful people. But also, men do this all the time and get called smart, driven, and charismatic. Women do it, and suddenly they are leeches, social climbers, and disgusting. The double standard is obvious. Nobody looks at a male celebrity who always dates models and calls him a social climber. Nobody looks at men who benefit from their partner's money or status and throws around gold digger the same way. Yet with Zara, every move she makes is framed as proof she is in it for the lifestyle, not the person. At the end of the day, none of us know what her relationship with Louis is like behind closed doors. We only see 3-second clips, a couple of photos at a Grand Prix, some Instagram posts, and anonymous sources saying she is spending a lot of time at his house. From that, the internet is trying to build an entire personality profile and moral judgment. What we can say for sure is that Zara has changed how she presents herself. She is less loud, less performative, more controlled. She knows that being next to someone like Louis Tomlinson changes how the world sees her, and she is obviously leaning into that more reserved, above the noise energy. Whether you see that as growth, calculation, or both probably says more about your own views on women, ambition, and dating than it does about her. So now I want to know what you think. Do you see Zara as a savvy woman who has leveled up her life and is just enjoying a new chapter? Or do you think the A-list partner vibe is all about clout and lifestyle? Do you feel bad for Sam, or do you think everyone has simply moved on and the internet needs to stop treating exes like they are owed loyalty forever?